Good afternoon and welcome to everybody to the City of Apopka May 6th, 2026 Commission meeting. I'm actually going to ask my pastor, Kevin Craig, to provide the invocation. He is the pastor of Thrive Church Apopka for a little over 30 years. And a fun anecdote is he was the one that baptized me when I was 4 or 5. So very great community leader here and somebody that's been very impactful in my life. So please, if you can provide us the invocation. Please stand.
Well, before I pray the invocation, I'll share Nick's favorite joke. I'm like a mosquito at a nudist colony. I know what I'm here to do, but there's a lot of places I could get started before we get started with this council meeting. Nick, before you were elected and the election took place, we had a time of prayer at the church just for the season that we're in. And out of the conference and the prayer came a man from the west coast of Florida that has prayed for our state for 45 years. And while he was staying at the Hilton Garden Inn, he was awakened at 3 o'clock in the morning the week before you won and walked out and stood on 441. And the Lord spoke to him and said, Highway 441 is a miracle highway. And God directed him to Psalm 44, verse 1 that says, God, we've heard about your glorious miracles that you've done for our ancestors. They told us about these ancient times and how by your power you drove out ungodly nation, crushing their strongholds and giving us the land. Now the people of Israel cover this land from one end to the other, all because of your grace and power. I've written and given to you and Councilwoman Barron the decree that we believe that you all have been given a gatekeeper's anointing and authority since your office is on Highway 441. And we believe that you're the gatekeepers to see miracles through the grace and power of God happen in our city. With that as a backdrop, I call us to this prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you today with humility and gratitude, acknowledging all wisdom and authority and purpose flow from you. As this council gathers, we invite the presence of the Holy Spirit into this place. May your Spirit rest on every heart and mind here. Grant them clarity where there's uncertainty, unity where there is division, and courage where there are difficult decisions to be made. Lord, we recognize the weight of leadership in times of peace and difficulty. In moments where conflict arises and challenges press in, guide this council to act not in fear, but in discernment, justice, and truth. Help them be vigilant and wise, prepared and compassionate. Holy Spirit, lead this new era of leadership. Shape their words, direct their steps, and align their decisions with your will. May they serve not for themselves, but for those and the good of those that you've entrusted to their care. Establish in them the integrity and the vision that you've entrusted them with. Give them strength to endure. Let this council be marked by the righteousness, accountability, and deep commitment to what is right that they've run on and decreed. We dedicate this time, these decisions, and this new season into your hands. Go before Mayor Nesta and this wonderful council. Stand beside them and remain within them. In your precious holy name we pray, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for that. If you can't stay standing, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. So moving forward here, just a little information for the commission. What we'll do, as long as you're open to it, is we'll rotate. We'll start with commission seat 1, 2, 3, and 4, and keep doing that. And you can have somebody of the clergy come that you select to come pray for that week. If you don't have anyone, we have a database that we can tap into for that. If that's okay with you guys.
Sure.
So it's your job next week. Excellent. I will jump into. I'm going to read a quick decorum statement, and then we'll jump into public comment as well. Welcome to the public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Apopka. Please turn off all cell phones or set them to silent. The City Commission permits and encourages input comments by the members of the public on all matters which may come before the council for action. If you wish to address the commission this afternoon, please make sure you have filled out a card with your contact information and have presented it to the clerk. When called upon, please proceed to the podium and speak clearly into the microphone, stating your name, and direct your comments to the City Commission and not to individual commissioners, staff, or members of the public. The Commission and City staff encourage constructive criticism. However, personal attacks are prohibited. Please observe general rules of decorum and civility. Speakers and members of the audience shall refrain from rude, derogatory remarks, shouting, disruptions, reflections as to integrity, slander, abusive comments, profanity, vulgarities, and statements as to personalities. Any violation of these provisions may result in the issuance of verbal warnings, including warnings for trespass. If violations persist after such warnings, violators may be removed from the commission chambers. And I just read that to make sure that we're all on the same page. But we really do welcome public comments, and I appreciate everyone being here today for that. Mrs. Bone, do we have any interested residents that would like to speak right now?
Yes. Rod Olson.
Oh, they're up. Okay, thank you. Rod Olson. All right, I want to say this is a great week in Apopka. I want to thank the police department for hosting another outstanding Cops and Bobbers. It was a tremendous program, an example of how we integrate in working with the community. Elementary and middle school students are paired side by side with officers, fishing, learning, laughing, and building relationships that matter. This event does not happen without support. Thank you to Costa, Eagle Claw, Elite Sticks, Hell Creek Lure, Jaw Tech, Mystery Tackle Box, Poor Boys Baits, Spear Point, Zip, Zebco, Cabela's, Carter Electric, Mission Fishing, and especially to Carter's Ace Hardware, Dick's Sporting Goods, LCL McDonald's, Sonny's Barbecue, King's Landing, and the Apopka Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association, who stepped up to make this event possible. Because of you, every child did not just have a great day. They went home with fishing gear and a memory that lasts. A special shout out to Officers Ray Lefty. I got to move this. Can you move forward? There we go. Well, that's the whole team. And if you can move forward one more, please. Thank you. That is Officer Ray Lefty. He and Cody Grow, leading in from the front, jumped into the water to help kids retrieve snag lures and land fish. You showed exactly what it means to serve with heart. To our police officers, detectives, leadership team, volunteers, and especially Sergeant Mark Creaser and Officer Greg Abergani, who put this event together. Mayor Nesta, thank you for being there, being present, engaged, and being there from start to finish. I've got a little something here. If I can find it, there we go. Enough of that. Good vibrations. At any rate, can you feel it? Can you see it? There is an energy in Apopka right now. Will there be discussion? Yes. Will there be debate? Absolutely. Will we always agree? No, we won't. But we will move forward together. When we lead with respect, when we hold each other accountable, when we work as one team, elected officials, city staff, citizens, there is nothing the city cannot accomplish. City staff are the backbone. In an environment built on trust, support, mutual respect, and accountability, they will thrive. Let us stay engaged. Let us stay involved. Let's keep showing up. Together, we are not just managing a city. We are building something stronger, something better, and something that every resident of Apopka can be proud of. Please give it up for the city staff and our leadership team. Now let's get to work. Oh, obviously our chief and Nesta, as I was leaving the end of the program, they were together. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. And if I can, before we jump to the next one, I just want to apologize to the commissioners. We're still working on communication for how we get invites out to events. So sorry you did not get that invite, but we are working diligently to make sure that every event that we are hosting in any capacity is on your calendar,
Okay.
and you guys can make those adjustments as needed from there. I just want to make sure that that was known. I'll take the ownership on that. We're just still working through those little nuances.
That's okay. The cops and bobbers are not for me.
Next resident, please.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Mayor, Commissioners. Congratulations to all you. Happy day after Cinco de Mayo. Happy Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, which I learned yesterday. We have more Asian Americans in this county than any county in the state of Florida. My name is Dr. Jim Moyer. I'm the elected Orange Soil and Water Conservation District 2 Supervisor. And this presentation is mine and mine alone. In less than 9 weeks, this country turns 250 years old. Uh, One of the founding fathers, very frugal founding father, emphasized waste not, want not. And in honor of Ben Franklin and the 250th anniversary, I'm launching a D2C3 water challenge. D2, of course, is for District 2. The three C's. Number one is change. I challenge you to make 2 new habits. Change something you're not doing now. First one, conserve. If, for example, you're letting the water run while you're brushing your teeth, that's wasting water. Or soaping up in the shower or running the dishwasher. Second is clean. Please pick one thing, make a new habit to prevent uh, pollution and contamination into our stormwater drains. For example, pick up trash. It always often ends up in the stormwater drain. Or if you wash your car in your particular driveway, a lot of that ends up in the stormwater drain. Or make sure you maintain your car well, because the oil and the other contaminants in your car ends up in that stormwater drain. Ben Franklin also said, "Tell me, and I forget. Teach me, and I may remember. Involve me, and I learn." So, second step of the challenge is tell your friends, but more importantly, teach them to participate in this water challenge, and most importantly, involve them and organizations in this water challenge. Uh, Thank you very much. I set up an email address just for this water challenge, and take personal responsibility. You have existing habits, make changes to new habits. Thank you for your time, and God bless all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Moore.
Dr. O. There's already so many positive changes going on in the city. We see the change in the commissioners actually having a place to sit down instead of squatting in the lobby. We see some other changes going on. Like to see the mayor finally get an office, maybe
In time.
in time. You've got that little short stool in the bathroom outside of the
right.
city manager's office with the little tiny elementary school toilets.
Yep.
Yeah.
Most people don't know about those. We need to, though, clean up some of the past. You know, we can't forget the past, and we need to clean it up. And one issue is that we have in just one department 69 back ordered public requests, and That's been going on for 562 days since 10/21/2024 by just one director. They have to be out immediately. And Susan, is that 7 days you've got set for public records requests? As a goal is 7 days. And the law says soon. And to be responsible. There are consequences to it. And the consequences include a $500 fine and removal from office. And so the clerk relies on the directors to do their job. And it also reflects on the commission and the mayor. And we've got some names on here that I highlighted for you that I question why those people didn't get their records. It included 2 commissioners that needed the records to vote, and they did not receive the records to vote. How could they make a wise decision if they didn't get the records to vote? So I beg of you to look at this and expedite these. Some of them even would result in income from corporations. Now, a final item is that we need to claw back some money that was spent unwisely on private club memberships. It opened up those clubs to public record requests. Any of those clubs that money was spent on, even after the commission decided not to spend money on those private clubs, they were paid out anyway. And that should have been stopped at the CFO level. And they were spent. So there's years of money being spent on private clubs, personal clubs, and now all those organizations' documents regarding it are public record.
Thank you. We will look into this.
Mm-hmm.
I will have some answers for you shortly.
Thank you.
Albert McKimmey.
Albert McKimmey, 3603 Golden Gem Road. Congratulations to everyone sitting here today. It's a new administration. It's time for us to forget a lot of the adversities and put them in the past. Many great things are born out of adversity, and Apopka over the last 4 years has had a great deal of adversity. It's my opinion now that we will have municipalities surrounding us who will be envious of what we have in front of us today. So my intention, not to say anything today, is to sit back and let you commissioners get an opportunity to look into things and do your job. One thing I would ask you is don't wait for us to come to you. Come to us. I invite you to pick up the phone and ask questions. There's one thing that I would ask, and again, Dr. O mentioned she had some concerns about public records. If we're not entitled to get to public records, or if there's some form of difficulty placed on it, whether it's monetary concerns or not, there's tens of thousands of emails in this city that we can't get access to. And within those emails, it has answers to most of the questions that we want to know. In the past, when we've made public record requests, we've been disenfranchised by the fact that to get that record request would cost a lot of money. So all I would ask is, let's look at when the public come, if it's for something that's significant and it's to help the city and help the commission, we should be prepared to waive public record fees.
Thank you for your comments.
William Murphy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking my commentary and my questions. I'm a longtime resident of Apopka. I've lived here since the early 90s. My family relocated here from Tennessee, so I've been blessed to call this area home. I've seen a lot of good changes in our community, and I've seen some questionable changes. I am a father of 3. I'm a loving husband, and my primary concern for my family is safety. And the safety concern that I currently have is the traffic that is currently coming to our area. I've lived off of Bear Lake Road. I've lived off of Thompson Road here in Apopka. I currently now reside off of Boy Scout Road. And if you've ever traveled down Ocoee Apopka Road here, you will notice that there is an immense uptick in traffic, not only with residential traffic, but also with commercial traffic. There has been development of warehouses within the last year. Within moving in the area, there's been two new warehouses that have sprung up in my area. There's one literally across the lake from where I live, and there's one coming at the end of Binion Road. So now you're going to have commercial traffic in a residential neighborhood. I'm constantly navigating 18-wheeler trucks along with school buses, which I should see because it is a residential community, but we are all traveling down the same two-lane highway, which is troubling for me because I am navigating this area with 18-wheelers, school buses, residential traffic. And if you ever traveled early in the morning or during rush hour, you will notice it is nearly impossible to turn left on the Apopka Road, either from Boy Scout or Binion Road. It is playing traffic roulette, and my hope and my prayer is that no one experiences a fatality. But if you've ever tried to turn left, you can see that it's possibly going to happen. And so, with the decisions that have already been made, I know we can't change those with the residential and commercial all together in one space. I'm urging this commission to take a deep look at the traffic in the area. There will be more traffic increasing as the Publix opens up. There's going to be a new apartment building next to that Publix, and it is still the same two-lane highway on a Apopka Coit Road. You have people crossing the street all the time who need to just get across the street. I'm very deeply concerned as a father that there will be something tragic that happens if we do not take a look at the traffic in that area and make some deep changes as to what is coming our way. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy, did you leave contact information on your card?
I did, yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Mr. Williams, if we can reach out or just put that, I'd be happy to send an email to provide some updates from staff because there are plans for that road. I promise you that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Okay. We have Reimagine Communities.
Miss Shante.
Hello, Shantae Jemison, Reimagine Communities, Emerson Park. So I'm here today to just inform everybody that we will be having a community sports day on July 18th. Our hope is to have it at the Alonzo William Billy Dean Center. We are in partnership with Apopka Police Department. We're very excited about it. This is a day to get our children, our police department, and our local businesses to just come out. Come out and see your families, the people that you represent, and just give these kids something positive to do. It's so easy to come here and talk about, oh, there's crime, or there's nothing for the kids to do. So we just said, hey, we're going to create this space and hopefully host an event at least once a quarter to get our kids something to do within the city of Apopka. So Advent Health is also going to bring a team out. So we are encouraging other businesses to come out. We are looking for sponsors to help with that event. There's going to be game trucks, old school games like potato sack runs, everything. We want to infuse the new with the old and just have everybody come out and do something positive in our city. And that will be on July 18th. We're hoping you guys will want to partner with us because we are trying to get the Alonzo William Park for that event. And we've also done something that people said couldn't be done, but it has. We reached out to other municipalities and we have other officers that are going to come over and just be with our kids and our officers. So we're very excited about that. We're going to make a big deal about it because it's something for our kids. And it's just not a reimagine thing because over the last year, we have been supporting some of our local smaller nonprofits in their mentoring group. So one of them is Polo Mentoring. So we have been a sponsor of them for the last year. They're going to be involved. We're reaching out to the schools. We're reaching out to athletes that have come from Apopka to try to get them to come out and give back to our kids. So we're just asking you guys to support, come out, and just come out and enjoy your kids and your families. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Jemison.
Sylvester Hall.
Sylvester Hall, Rock Springs Ridge. Good afternoon, everyone. What a beautiful day it is to see change, to see the energy, to feel the energy. So I'm here, as I always is here, to be a constant reminder. It's good to have the energy. It's good to be motivated, but there's a lot of work to do. And there's a lot of hearts and a lot of minds that need to be changed. And if we move forward in love, that'll happen. So I'm happy. Uh, and congratulations to everyone. And thank you, Commissioner Barron, for your invite. I just was out of town, wasn't able to make it, but my heart and my soul and spirit was there with each and every one of you. So thank you. You have raised your right hand for oath, and that oath you should take very seriously because you are the citizens' first line of defense when it comes to public safety and public welfare. And so please take that to heart. And I'm going to say this because I always say this, because we are in troubling times, you know, and we don't want to overlook that. So I'm here as a constant reminder. Our country is in a national crisis because too many good people are standing by, watching bad things happening and not doing anything about it, sometimes being complacent. We must stand united against racism. We must stand united against hate. We must stand united against corruption. We must stand united against greed. And we must stand united against white privilege. When we normalize the abnormal, we desensitize the truth to the point the truth doesn't matter anymore. And that is a sad place for the country to be. And so, each and every one of you, if you hold these values, and we're not all perfect, none of us are perfect, but we should strive to be as close as possible. So when I read these core values, the truth matters, laws matter, morals matter, ethics matter, leadership matters, character matters, integrity matters, principle matters, rules matter, facts matter, procedures matter, honesty matters, accountability matters, responsibility matters, justice matters, contents of situations matters, and all God's people matter. If we lead in that with our heart, then we will set the standard for the whole entire country. You have a chance to do that today, and I will hold you accountable to making sure that that is carried out for the people and the residents of the city of Apopka. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Deborah Green.
Deborah Green for Orange Audubon, P.O. Box 274, Apopka. Congratulations and welcome. And I'm very pleased. I know you've been supporters of our project all along. The Apopka Birding Park, which is right next to the Lake Apopka Wildlife Drive. Just incremental updates. We're still heavily fundraising before we can start construction, but we did select our building contractor, RB Marks of Winter Springs, that our architect is very pleased to work with. He's worked with him on another project. And on the habitat restoration, the concrete pads are finally being removed by the St. Johns River Water Management District. That's a long time waiting. And to help us get over the hump and be able to start construction, the Propagate owner, Ella Duke, offered to do a fundraiser for us there at Propagate, and it's coming up May 16th. And I invite you all, and all the community will make sure it gets in the newspapers. So that's about it.
Are you able to send us that email with that in it so that it can be circulated?
I sure will.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Virginia Street.
All right. Virginia Street with compassion in Apopka. I wanted to first thank everyone for our last gathering we had at Just Like Mama's, where it was a luau, and everybody had their items on, and they were very pleased with the food and the clothing. And I provided a couple of assistance with people filling out applications for jobs. 3 of them I helped, and 2 of them got the job. So if you drive up to Burger King, you'll see one of them that has a job. So I am grateful just for being in their presence and to be able to talk with them and understand everyone has a different story. Everyone has a different story about how they got there, and it's not so different from mine. I just had a different variable that didn't put me there. So I continue to press forward. I continue to ask for your support. I am pleased with the new leadership that we have, and I am content, and I know that anything I ask for that I need, I know that it's available to me. I do have May in the works right now. It is May the 24th at Just Like Mama's. And what we are doing is, since it's right before Memorial Day, it'll be a Memorial Day celebration. So we are decorating and just giving people a chance to have their minds in a different place, and just to provide any counseling, any needs that are requested, and just be able to point people in the right direction, whether it's dental care, whether it's health care, what the city has provided. I've also provided a sheet that has information on it, where there are food banks, where there are things that they may be interested in that they're not aware of. I counted 5 new people this week that have moved into the Apopka area, and I feel that the number will continue to increase with they came out of I talked with them, and they came out of Orlando because there was no shelters for them there, and one of them is a young lady with her 2 children, and I was able to direct her to a place where she could find something. So I ask you to continue to, if nothing else, just pray for the unhoused, and pray for the mission that I've taken. I continue to ask for your support, and I'm encouraged by what I see for the future. Thank you.
What time is it on the 24th?
It is at 5:30.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Street.
Mm-hmm.
What time is that?
5:30.
What time? Oh.
Excellent. Is there anybody else that didn't put in a card that would like to speak? If not, we will move on to our approval of minutes. There was one small change that was brought to my attention, and it is the signature line of the minutes themselves. That it goes from it needs to be corrected to read Nick Nesta, Mayor. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes, the regular city council meeting minutes of April 15th, 2026 with that change?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Anderson, second by Commissioner Ruth. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Agenda review, Mr. Williams, any changes to the agenda?
No changes, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Proclamations, I'm actually going to be reading them from the podium.
Okay.
Is that on? Okay. Please. I'm actually going to start. We're starting with National Public Works Week, and Mr. Vlad Somanovsky has provided some facts that he'd like to share before we read it.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Commissioners, Mayor. I just wanted to share a few notes, like key historical highlights on some of the National Public Works Week before we go into the proclamation. So in 1960, the APWA, which is the American Public Works Association, instituted the first National Public Works Week to educate the public on the importance of public works and community life. In 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed a proclamation officially recognizing the week, urging citizens to pay tribute to public works engineers and administrators. Now, 40 years later, in 2003, public works employees were officially recognized as first responders through the Homeland Security Presidential Directive Number 8, known as HSPD 8, signed by President George W. Bush. And this directive recognized their critical role in emergency management alongside police, fire, and EMS. Finally, in 2018, the American Public Works Association adopted an official public works first responder symbol. Public works professionals are often the first on the scene and last to leave during disasters, responsible for clearing roads, restoring critical infrastructure, and protecting public safety. As a matter of fact, I invited a few of our team, and actually half of them had to respond right before we entered the building here to a fallen tree on the road on Old Magnolia in the old section of town. So they just could not be here at the moment. They had to respond. Finally, each year APWA assigns a national team, and the 2026 observance carries the team rooted in service, powered by community.
Oh.
Thank you, and I'll let Mayor Nesta.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. I will say Public Works, I knew since I got elected and even before that, obviously, that Public Works really was an integral part of our city. Not always the most glamorous, but the most needed. And I've seen that even just in the past week that I've been seated. They truly are the backbone of what gets this city going to where it needs to be. So thank you for that. I'll stick to the proclamation. Whereas Public Works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to public health, high quality of life, and well-being of people of Apopka, Florida. And whereas the infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for citizens, civic leaders, and children in Apopka to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now, therefore, I, Nick Nesta, Mayor of the City of Apopka, Florida, do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th through May 23rd to be National Public Works Week in the City of Apopka and urge all citizens to join in recognizing and honoring the dedicated public works employees who play a crucial role in keeping our communities safe. So we can step down. You guys can come on up. We'll take a quick picture. Time if you're gonna do it. Thank you. We're going to move on to the Municipal Clerk's Week proclamation. I'll read it for you here. Whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists through the world. And whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, not saying ours is the oldest, just it's the oldest. Whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing body, and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and partiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community, and whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerks through participation in educational programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, county, and international professional organizations. And whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk. Now, therefore, I, Nick Nesta, Mayor of the City of Apopka, Florida, do hereby recognize the week of May 3rd through May 9th, 2026 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend the appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, Susan Bone, and to all of our professional municipal clerks for their vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. And I just want to say a couple words. They really do an incredible job dealing with and servicing all of our residents through public records requests, helping out with the agendas. I mean, they're and on and on and on. I could go on for a long time. And so always deal, and they also deal with cemetery too. So there's a lot, and they just do an incredible job. Exactly how this says, with impartiality, professionalism, and a positive attitude. So I just want to thank you to our team that has been here. And if we can, come take a picture, please.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, Attorney Shepard, I had asked him to do a brief, emphasis underlined, italicized, brief sunshine law review just for the new commissioners, ourselves as well, just to make sure sometime the intention may be there, but that doesn't matter. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page there, and any questions, please ask. Go ahead and stop anywhere through if you have a clarifying question. So Attorney Shepard, it's all yours.
All right. Well, Mayor, thank you for having me up here for this important topic. If you had to ask me the one thing that I think you need to know for all of you to stay out of the newspapers, no apologies to the sergeant, and anyone else, it's sunshine law and public records. So notwithstanding that I've been given a sharp deadline of 10 minutes, if you've taken the ethics course that I also teach, you'll know that this is given them a minimum of an hour in that course. And so covering it all in 10 minutes is not going to be too easy, but I've cut it down to the stuff that will keep you out of jail. So that's what we're trying to do. All right. So with that, I'm going to jump through all these slides. I can talk about any of them at length, but I will spare you the details and try to get to slide 5. If I can make this thing go fast enough, because that's going to get to the meat of it. Okay. Did I get it? Yes. Minutes. Okay. All right. So what are the 3 things that you need for a proper sunshine meeting? You need notice, you need to be in a location that's public accessible, and you need minutes. And if it were that simple, then I would be done. But it's not that simple, because the key to all of these things is each one of them has been interpreted by the courts to be very specific. The notice has to be reasonable. It has to be provided in the appropriate manner, the way your meetings are noticed. And also, they have to be published in a way that the public can find out about them. The locations, all of these things, by the way, have come up in cases. So you can't have it in a restaurant. You can't have it in a private club. You can't have it in outside the city limits, and so on and so forth. This is one of the reasons why I get often asked the question, we would like to do a retreat. Well, as long as the retreat's here, you can do it here, but that's not somewhere else outside the jurisdiction. Those places all sound nice, and this will come up later when we start talking about some cases that have been in the newspaper recently. But this is where you need to be, in the city limits, in a publicly accessible building where everybody can come in and be felt like they're welcome to be here and participate in the process. You do need to be in a place where chilling effect occurs, that i.e. I got to buy a meal in order to sit here and listen to this meeting, or I got to get into a private club where I might be looked at as someone who doesn't belong, or I'm not dressed appropriately, or any of those things. So that's critical. And then minutes have to be kept. But of course, the question is, what is a meeting? Well, a meeting is any communication between two or more members of the same board. So any of the two of you, through any means, text messages, phone calls, written notes passed on the die, whatever it might be. And it discusses business that is reasonably foreseeable to come before you. Or, and this is an important thing to understand, business that you've already had that you might think is over, because as people who've been here long enough, Ms. Velasquez can testify, will know it's never over. Everything always comes back one way or the other. So if you talk about it in between, you've created a problem for yourself. So don't do that. All right. The next slide I'm going to move ahead to on, I don't know if you have the written presentation, but it's going to be 7. And let's see if I can get all the pieces, parts there. Yes, here we go. This looks so much nicer when I get to do it, in order. But anyway, so what is the reason why this is a problem? Well, knowingly violating a meet or attending a meeting in violation of these requirements is a second-degree misdemeanor. What is an automatic? Well, if you're outside the state of Florida, when does that become an issue? Well, anybody go on to Washington to meet with legislators? If you go as a group, that's a potential problem if you're talking about city business in the same location with one another. Same in Tallahassee, not outside the state, but outside the jurisdiction, same issue. So that's why if you ask me, I would say send one, not more than one. And if you are going to send more than one, you better stay apart. You better not eat together. You better not stay together in the same, not that you would be in the same hotel room, but you just understand that you're going to create an issue, because appearance matters hugely here. And a court can assess attorney's fees against you for enforcement of the statute unless you follow the advice of the city attorney. So I get to be your boss for this particular issue. If you listen to me, you stay out of trouble. If you don't listen to me, you get in trouble. It's that simple. All right. So we've covered what a public meeting is, and that can be any communication between the two of you. The next statute, next page I want to go to is 8. And it covers all of these issues in some detail, and I'll talk about them. So this is, the Sunshine Law is not just a statute. Statute's 286.011. It's also in the Florida Constitution, and it covers where discussions of matters that reasonably may be foreseeably come before you could happen. And it includes staff committees. So something you may not be aware of, but certainly the public may not be, is we have a committee called the DRC. It's made up of department heads that review development. They are staff and ordinarily not subject to sunshine. But when that committee meets, because they make recommendations that come to you, they are subject to sunshine, which puts them in the same position as you do with regard to discussing these matters in certain contexts outside of those meetings. So it's very clear that any way you would communicate, telegraph, smoke signal, semaphores, doesn't matter. If you're communicating about business, it's a problem. So you don't want to do it unless it's at a notice meeting where minutes are kept. All right. Yes, prosecutions still happen. As this headline indicates, from 2019, grand jury to review Century Town operations, council members charged with sunshine law violations. Now, newspapers, and I mean no disrespect to newspapers, but they have lost some relevance in our day-to-day lives. More what we see on the news, on the TV is what we see, right? But I will promise you, you do not want this headline to be you, because the fact that they're simply being investigated is not a good, happy day. Why? Because I've been investigated twice, and I'm the lawyer, and I can't be charged with anything. but the people who actually administer the law don't even necessarily understand it either. And so what I'm telling you is if they can look at me for violating sunshine because I do my job in talking to commissioners, they will absolutely look at you. Okay. And so there, I wanted to show you this picture because it has a real point to it. My question is, what is going on here in these conversations? And the fact that we don't know is the point. In any of these conversations, some of these people are famous. You probably know who they are. We won't need to go into identifying them. But if this happens in these meetings, and it always does, there's communication between you guys, and at every other city meeting I attend, here, out in the parking lot, walking to and from. And if I don't know in the public what's happening, and I have a suspicious mind, this is a sunshine violation, even if it's not, because it is the topics of the communication that make it a violation. But suspicious minds say, this looks suspicious to me. And all you have to be is on the wrong side of somebody who you voted against on an issue, and this becomes an investigation. If I don't know what's happening here, and I'm out here, you should be concerned about how that may end up, okay? This last slide I only pick on because it makes a point that's probably bigger than anything else. W. Childers' long, strong Florida history story that I will spare you, but he used to be the president of the Senate back in the day. He was mostly famous for having boxing matches with other members of the Senate. That's no joke. But when he got out of the Senate, he went back to his hometown of Pensacola and decided local politics was now his thing. And he ran for and got elected to his local commission. However, he didn't realize, because they don't apply sunshine law to legislatures in the way they apply them to folks like you. They're exempt. You are not. And he went to jail for violating the very law that he and the legislature put in fact to affect all of us. So if it happens to him, there he is happily going to jail. Then it could happen to you. All right. So with that, I want to move to some recent cases that show that there is a problem on an ongoing problem. Let me say that. I want to go to one other thing that we've talked about. I got to get all these transitions work great, except when you have to go fast. But they're about things that happen today that you need to understand. And so I can talk about any of these later. This is the one. Okay, digital age sunshine. Now, this is an old slide, but it's still applicable. What kind of other things that we didn't talk about can get you in trouble? Facebook Messenger. Commenting on posts on a public forum that were posted by another commissioner. Commenting on posts that were posted by someone who's not a commissioner, but another commissioner comments back to you through the post. The poster becomes the conduit in that situation. And they're not violating anything, but the two of you, if you are communicating through this other intermediary, if you will, same problem. There was a commercial that I usually talk about when I give these presentations in the much, much longer version. The Miller beer commercial. It was taste great, less filling. If you ever remember the commercial, there's a guy who's an instigator, and he would turn to one guy on the left and he'd say, well, I think this beer tastes great. Me too. And then the guy next to him would poke him in the ribs and says, no, it's less filling. And the next thing you know, the two are arguing, and the guy who's the intermediary just steps back and all heck breaks loose. This is what an intermediary does. And how does it happen? You go to your cocktail party, a birthday party, whatever, and some member of the public comes and engages you about an issue. And you will engage them back because you are politicians. That's what you're supposed to do. But if that same person says, well, I just talked to Mayor Nesta, and he says something else, and he has a different view. What do you think about that? And then you give them that view, and they run back to Mayor Nesta, and now we have communication. And that is what you have to be on the guard for, okay? That is a problem. Now, I was told that I would be able to go here if I could figure this thing out and pull up some cases that I have down here in the PDF. So if I can lose the mouse, I want to show you that this is not old stuff, that this is new stuff. Okay, so the first one I'm going to start with, sadly, involves my alma mater. And I'm starting with it not because it involves my alma mater, but because it goes back to, it's the oldest. This is December 5th of 2024. And this article gave me the cringe. If you read it, you will find that probably every possible way that I just told you not to violate sunshine law, my alma mater violated it regularly since 2018, with meetings that were held outside the jurisdiction in Tampa and Sawgrass, places people couldn't get to, that they were served lavish dinners, which is a whole separate issue, that they were doing planning and all kinds of things they thought were exempt, which they absolutely weren't. And the worst fact of all of this, they host something they call the Open Government Center on that campus. If anybody should know, they should know. And you might remember that they have a law school there. I know because I'm an alumnus of that law school. This is not good. And I don't know what will happen because of the political times we're in. I won't say that people were going down, but if we weren't in those times, people would be going down 100%. That's a fact. So I wanted you to know that I am not discriminating. My own law school can't get it right. My own campus can't get it right. Then I'm going to go to Holmes County. This was in October of 2025. Sunshine Law case concludes with mixed outcomes. And if you read the article, what you'll find is that one of the commissioners there was charged and was convicted at a trial. The other one resigned, but that was to avoid facing trial. And so this is not something that's ancient history. This is not something you can afford to ignore. It can wreck you. And then the last one, to try to stick clear to my, because I could talk about any of these for a much longer time. This is my friends out in Deltona. And the date on this one is February 10 of 2026. Deltona commissioners accused of sunshine law violation after holding canceled meetings. They canceled it, but then they went and held it anyway. People therefore weren't notified, and on it goes. Now they are being sued or potentially sued, according to the article. That is another ramification, because if you get in a private lawsuit and you violate the sunshine law, guess what? It's on you. That's your money out of your pocket. You don't get reimbursed unless you're proven to be not guilty. And that is a problem, because if you do enough activity to get charged or to get sued and you are found not guilty, all that does is shift the burden of who pays, but the government pays, and that's your taxpayers. And if it's not the government and your taxpayers, it's you. Neither is good for you. Neither is good for you. So what do I recommend? Be Caesar's wife so you don't lose your head. Anything for me?
Thank you, Attorney Shepard. Any questions for the attorney?
I actually have two questions. So, in regards to like your family members, what does that look like with communication? Does the sunshine laws apply to the family members? So let's just say if
unless they're acting as an intermediary. I couldn't send my brother, sister, wife, or other to if I was on the commission to interact with another communicator, another commissioner, because that would be using an intermediary. If I can't do it one-on-one, I can't do it through some third party.
Okay. And my second question is social media. Can you go over the social media piece again? So let's just say there's a public forum. She comments, I comment. That's a violation of sunshine?
It can be, because it depends on the nature of the communication. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's suppose that I have a position. I'm a big poster on social media. I'm not, but let's suppose for the sake of discussion I am, and I'm in favor of a specific development. And the fact that I've announced it publicly means that a lot of people are now on my Facebook page saying, this is a bad idea. They think it's terrible. Not that we have anybody here that doesn't like develop. Everybody here likes development. I know, because I listen. But this could happen, and so it starts a conversation that gets you drawn in. So someone is saying, hey, well, Commissioner Anderson, how do you feel about it? So you go on there and say, I just want you to know I don't agree with the poster. I think the poster is crazy. I think this development has some issues that we need to look at. I'm being careful how I word it so I don't get you in a position on another issue, which is making a decision on a quasi-judicial matter before it comes here. I'm just not talking about sunshine. But let's suppose you engage in that discussion and say, well, maybe the apartment complex is too much for the area, okay? And then a different commissioner comes on and says, I love apartments. They're great. Now, is that a communication between, not directly, but by the virtue of the post, you're taking a position, someone else is taking a position, and you're communicating. And that is an issue that we know is coming before you, or else it wouldn't be on social media. That's a violation. but it can also be done through Messenger. It can be done through private messages, all of which are discoverable and critically important. All of that stuff, if it deals with public business, is a public record. And if you don't think we get records requests for your private messages, they aren't private. If they deal with public business, there is no such thing. It doesn't matter whether it's on your private phone, your private mail account. There is no such thing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, Attorney Shepard.
All right.
We'll be moving on to the consent agenda now, or action item there. Is there anybody on the dais or from the public that have any questions specific to the consent agenda that we need to pull? Yes. Number 7. All right. Then we will pull that one. That's specific to the agreement, FDEP agreement, a replacement of asbestos cement and galvanized drinking water pipes. So I will look for a motion for approval of consent agenda items 1 through 6.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Anderson. Second by Commissioner Barron. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Number 7.
Who, Ms. Sherman? I don't know why you sit all the way back there. We love talking to you.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
The item before you is to authorize the Finance Director to accept and execute FDEP L0126 original agreement in the amount of $1,057,500 for the Apopka replacement of asbestos cement and galvanized drinking water pipes project. In regards, you want me to give an overview or just?
No, that's okay for now.
Cool.
Was there any specific question? If you can, come address it so that anybody in the public that's watching online can hear your question as well.
I want to address 2 issues. One is being on the consent agenda. I had one time heard a cap that $1 million needed to be discussed and not put on a consent. I don't know if that has been changed, but that seems like a discussable amount. And so I would think that you would want to discuss that high of an issue so that everyone could vote fairly. And then the second thing is it says replacement of asbestos cement and galvanized drinking water pipes. Now, are those asbestos cement pipes, is it going to be a CIPP, a change in place where they're using like the felt resin pipe inserts, or is it going to be a replacement? If so, it needs to be worded properly. So I don't know if Public Works is going to address that.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Vladimir Simonovsky, Public Works Director. This is going to be a complete replacement of the asbestos cement pipes. And the same thing with the galvanized pipes. There.
Okay, thank you. And this is funded through a grant, correct?
Yes.
Yes, a grant.
100% through a grant. Is there any match to this?
There's no match.
Okay. Attorney Shepard or Mr. Williams or Ms. Sherman, is there any type of limit that we currently have either through a policy or statutorily on consent agenda item dollar amounts?
I don't think you have a policy. There's definitely not a statutory limit on any of that stuff. What makes an item on consent or off consent is generally whether it is something that requires further discussion. Like this could be, for example, accepting a bid to place a certain number of police cars, which would well exceed $1 million depending on the number of cars, but it could also be on consent. The thing that makes it legal to have it on consent is the opportunity to pull it off by either one of you all or by the public, because that's what matters. They have to have an opportunity to comment before a decision is made if they choose to. But if nobody from the public cares or wants to pull it off, that's why we ask the question, then it can proceed.
Understood. Thank you for that clarity. Any other questions?
No.
All right, then I'll look for a motion to approve consent agenda item number 7.
So moved.
Moved by Vice Mayor Velasquez, second by Commissioner Ruth. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you
Motion
very
passes.
much.
Okay.
Thank you. The motion has passed unanimously.
Repeat
We,
the.
He did.
I
He
did,
did.
I did state that. I did. I'll do that moving forward. Thank you. So we're moving on to public hearing ordinances resolutions now. This is project manager Dr. Son. If we can have the ordinance read, please.
Ordinance number 3157. An ordinance of the City of Apopka, Florida, amending the future land use element of the Apopka Comprehensive Plan of the City of Apopka, changing the future land use designation from residential low to mixed use for properties located at 171 West Orange Street and 15 North Washington Avenue, owned by JBCB Residential Properties LLC, comprising .9 acres more or less, providing for severability, conflicts, and an effective date.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioner. This is Dr. Jun Sung, planner at the Community Development Department. The applicant has requested a small-scale future land use amendment for the properties located at 171 West Orange Street and 15 North Washington Avenue from residential low to mixed use. The total size of the properties is .9 acre, and the current use is residential with one single-family house and one townhome building. The subject properties currently have a zoning of MUD, mixed use downtown, but the current future land use is residential low, allowing 5 dwelling units per acre. The requested future land use is mixed use, and it will make the future land use consistent with the current zoning. Mixed use land use allows 15 dwelling unit per acre or a 1.0 floor area ratio, and the change of future land use will increase the property's density from 4 units to 13 units. The properties are located in CRA Community Redevelopment Agency Overlay District according to Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Element Policy 3.1.R. Areas within the CRA shall be allowed to have a mixed-use future land use to encourage innovative land use techniques, creative urban design, environmental protection, and the use of sustainable development principle and practice. The comprehensive plan, the policy states that mixed-use land use allows a mixture of residential, office, commercial, industrial, recreation, institutional use, and public facilities used to serve the residential and non-residential needs of special areas of the city. The use can be permitted a single use, a vertical mixed use, or horizontal mixed use. Proposed use is the development of 2 townhome buildings for the total 8 residential units. The plan on the slide is only a conceptual plan, and the actual site plan or development plan has not been received yet. The Land Development Code 3.6.3 Mixed Use Downtown Zoning states that one of the purpose of mixed use downtown zoning is higher density residential development, and it states townhome dwellings. Please note that we are currently at the stage of making a decision on changing the future land use of properties, and approval of changing the future land use does not authorize the approval of any development. These are the images of the current building on the properties. The DRC recommended approval on February 18th, and the Planning Commission anonymously recommended approval on April 14th. Recommended motion is to accept the first reading of ordinance number 3157 and hold it over for the second reading and adoption. Staff is available for any questions.
Thank you for that overview. Any questions from Commission?
I do. So is the applicant here?
Is
Can you please?
Might ask, we're going to adjust this just a little bit, is I would like any questions. I want the applicant to come up at the end to be able to answer any questions with, so if you can just save that one, it'll come back up.
Because I'll probably have like a combination of after, but that's fine.
Okay, and I don't mean to because my goal, just to let you know, from kind of moving forward, I want to try to keep our applicants' conversations to 15 minutes moving forward, as long as you guys agree to that, just to make sure that we're moving time appropriately. So we can do that now. I'm happy to do that. Whatever works best. If those were your questions.
So I wouldn't know. I probably would have more questions for him after I ask her questions. So
Understood.
I don't know if I could.
Go and do that now.
Yeah.
Yes. I apologize.
Yeah.
We'll get this fixed.
Yeah. Okay. I don't. I'll speak a card too as well. So there is a. So yeah, I actually don't have any questions for you right now. but I do have one for the applicant. But I guess you want to wait to see if anyone else has any questions for him.
Yeah, the only thing I would tell Dr. June, thank you for providing me the date. And I have to speak a little louder because I had a couple of residents say that they don't hear us very well. Thank you for providing the date of the DRC meeting. If you can make sure that as we move forward, can you put that date on the agenda? Because sometimes I like to go back since it is recorded. I go to YouTube and just kind of hear the discussion, and I didn't have a date.
Yes.
The other thing was that there's a conceptual plan, and I understand it's conceptual and that it will come before us again. But there was just something that I'm not agreeing with on the conceptual plan, but I'll make that statement to the applicant after the applicant comes up.
Okay. Just want to let you know that so anything residential development, anything lower than 25 units will not come back to the planning public hearings. They are only requires the administrative approval process.
So this will not come back to us.
So if they, after the approval of future land use, if they submit their development plan for example, like 8 residential units of townhome, then they don't have to come back for the public hearings.
And we will have a second reading of this.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions for staff specifically right now?
I do. So in terms of the land use, now I understand it's right now low density residential, and they're asking to change that. And it is in our CRA area. And looking at this area, how are you determining it is compatible with the area itself? And I understand there's the Elk Lodge, there's also Blink, down the street, there's a couple of buildings, but I'm just trying to get a grasp in terms of understanding the comparable to the area.
That sounds more like vision related question. I'll defer that question to the planning manager.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Bobby Howell, Planning Manager. To answer your question, Commissioner, we look at the compatibility with the surrounding area. Across the road, and let me go back to the map, you'll see that the red is commercial, and that's just across the street. And then down off the southwest, there is a non-residential use here. In addition to that, as Dr. Son had indicated, the comprehensive plan, the specific policy, states that any property that's within the CRA is eligible for this mixed use future land use. So it could be, I'll just randomly point to one right here, and they could do mixed use, and the comprehensive plan supports that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions for staff specifically yet?
No.
All right. I'd like to, we have one public comment, correct? Okay, let's do that, please.
Okay, so Lynette Anderson.
My name is Lynette Anderson. I live at 170 West Magnolia Street, where I've lived for the last almost 13 years. Two of the major concerns of the incredibly dense use of a small piece of property in this neighborhood are traffic and drainage. Both have been ongoing problems, and this project will only increase those existing issues, with neither seemingly addressed in the details of this proposal. With these 8 two-story, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage units, there could be an increase of 16 to 20 plus vehicles accessing the intersection of West Orange and North Washington. Granted, not all at the same time, but any increase is too much. Although the information provided shows the tract size as plus or minus 0.9 acres, that's the entire property, including the rental at 15 North Washington. The actual size allotted for both the 8 townhouses and the section for additional parking is only approximately 0.64 acres, barely more than 1/2 acre allotted for the townhouses. Also noted in the proposed density, which would allow 15 dwelling units per acre versus the current zoning, which I believe allows only 5 dwelling units per acre. At the initial meeting, the term gentrification was used repeatedly, the definition being the process in which a poor area of the city is improved by an influx of middle class or wealthy people who renovate and rebuild homes and businesses, resulting in an increase in property values and displacement of usually poor residents. This explains why the applicant repeatedly mentioned the garbage homes in my neighborhood. The significant increase in value of my home in nearly 13 years I've owned it is in no way due to gentrification. At the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, only one question was raised by the committee, a legitimate question of whether this project is ready to go. The applicant, the applicant's response was tentative and unclear. She stated that she is a general contractor. I hope that the applicant's thoughts that these units would sell for $300,000 to $400,000 would come to be. Hopefully, we'll learn what true benefit this plan will provide to the rest of the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Okay.
All right, let's invite the applicant up to address, and we can just set that timer, please. Trying to stay on track as much as possible.
Yes. Okay.
So what we can do here is, Commissioner Anderson, if you'd like to start with any questions specifically you had, and obviously feel free to bring staff up as well.
So, can you, in regards to some of the things that the resident said, some concerns you have, can you address some of those concerns in regards to the drainage and also the traffic?
Look at the
Well, I saw it
again.
but I wanted to cheat it. Yeah, I saw it.
In the conceptual plan, I have some extra parking, but that also could be used for drainage. But typically, that's done, during your plan set with your topography maps. So the idea is that you won't create any drainage problems for other people. It will all be on site. That's generally how most of construction is done these days. So drainage is actually handled for that lot and for that lot only. As for traffic, I did take that in consideration, and that's why there was a one in and one out, and those could be interchanged too. Like, there's not that's pretty close though to what we'd like to build, but it can still be maneuvered, it can still be finessed. It can go in this way, out that way. I mean, we're kind of very open with that. We're not trying to do any negative impact on the community. More units means more affordable housing.
So this is an affordable housing project?
It's not an affordable housing project.
Okay. When you say affordable, what are going to be the price ranges where you're thinking?
Well, we're still looking into some grants. I know that my client is, so that's one of the goals, is to potentially be applying for some of those things. But there's a lot of different criteria to go through, and a lot of this is up for discussion. If there's grants and there can be that. I mean, it's not all set in stone. It's flexible, whatever's best for the community. I mean, my client's not trying to do something that's going to adversely affect the community. They're just trying to develop on their lot, and whether or not they do 4 units or they do 8 units, they're into development. They're going to develop. So the question is, what do you want to see on that? Like, what can we do on that? When you can do more units, you can offer up that product for less money. That's part of it. So I don't know if that addresses your question.
So,
And
okay, here you said, I told them that the drainage of the area was not part of our meeting. That was at the community meeting.
Well, no, I said that.
Yeah, when you had the community meeting, obviously that was a concern. Was there an engineer from your side to at least give them some kind of information, or are we just relying on the city's engineer?
Well, individual lots generally don't look at all the drainage around, because that's usually done by Public Works. Even if I wanted to, as a developer on one lot, change the drainage that's already existing, it's just not something that's generally done. All I said was that all the drainage issues in that area on that lot would be addressed to not have any adverse effect on any of the neighbors. I said that I'm not sure about the rest of it because I'm not Public Works. So I said it's not part of this project because I'm not Public Works. I said that the drainage would be handled for this lot, though.
Okay.
And so that it wouldn't adversely. And right now, a lot of these empty lots, a lot of them are just going with the flow of things. When you put development on it, all development is supposed to be self-contained. So that's just the general principle for drainage. That's all I was trying to explain.
So were you the only one at the community meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. And no one else from the development or
who else would I,
so well, how do you represent the development?
I do architectural work and I do site development, and when I do single family homes, for example, we have to do drainage calculations, and it all has to be on site. It's, you have to make sure that your water is not going to go on to anybody else's. So drainage is always handled on the lot, and I do
Okay.
this all the time. So I just never had this kind of
Yeah.
like I've never been asked about the surrounding area other than my lot in any permitting situation.
Okay. Well, welcome to Apopka.
Yep.
The other question was on the conceptual side. I did see that you had the driveway 20 feet. And that one, I saw it was 20 feet on your conceptual site. And that was the only thing that I kind of questioned, was that 20 feet is too short. A lot of residents have, F-150s, these super trucks, and being that this is going to be a rear parking, and so I know that the fire department had addressed being able, and even our sanitation, to address the accessibility to be able to go into the rear in case of an emergency. But when you have a resident that has a truck that's overflowing the 20-foot driveway, then it creates a problem. So rather than not address that from the very beginning, that was the only concern that I had, which was the 20-foot driveway.
Yeah, I'd be happy to sit down and like with transportation engineering and see if we can't come up with some kind of solutions for that. Absolutely.
Right, because
It can be,
because it's a real parking, and
yeah.
I just want to make sure that at all times that our fire department, the police department, and our sanitation have the ability to drive through without someone's truck either over the 20-foot or someone using that area for parking.
Right, and there's different things that we could put into place to say no ticket could be given. If your truck is over, but a standard garage is 20 by 20, which fits most large kind of capacity trucks. I mean, I know there might be some. I'm not familiar with like the super cabby, the largest one on the road, but I mean, typically in all of planning, usually it's given 20 foot as ample space for any vehicle.
Well, I did address that with our staff. So I guess at the time when it comes to them for some kind of, they'll review it. That was an issue that I did ask them to look into.
That can definitely be discussed. Like it could add another foot to the garage so that the garages are a little deeper. Could make the back a little bit. There's not a whole bunch of room with, but definitely can be moved and maneuvered. But just from a conceptual plan, the townhouses as they are, they're already kind of tight, and I get that. There's not a whole bunch of room with the buildings itself. So, but on the site, there's definitely a lot of things that can be adjusted, and I'd be certainly happy during permitting to sit down with any of your transportation, because I submit a plan to them and they come back and they say no, we would like this to be 22 feet instead, and then I go okay, and then I adjust it and bring it back. So definitely can do any of that.
Well, thank you for the response. Thank you. I'm done.
Commissioner Ruth? Are you currently aware that that if you look at the concept plan that you've put before us, do you know how many structures are there now?
There's like 2 right now.
Did you know how many were there previously or total?
I didn't do a deep dive into the history of it.
The east of it and behind it, do you know how many structures are in those locations? I'm just looking at your concept plan here, the map, the adjacent properties, the ones that are directly north of this.
The ones that are right behind it.
Yeah, right behind it. That would be north.
Mm-hmm.
And the property to the east. So there's one east, and there's 3 behind,
right,
which would be north.
Okay.
And then right in the middle of that, your proposal was to put 8.
towards the street and yeah, away from those properties.
On the same size lot.
I guess I'm a little confused as to the
Well,
question.
I'm just saying the surrounding neighborhoods, the houses around it, are of single story.
Mm-hmm.
They are one structure per lot.
Yeah.
And then in this corner, there would be 8 assembled, but it would be multi-story. So
It would be 2-story, which would be consistent with the 2-story homes in the area.
there is no 2 stories in that area.
In the area, a larger.
Not in this area.
I mean, maybe not right beside it, but
This, every house around this is a single story, with the exception of the one over on the corner. To the west of it and a little further north.
and pardon me, I'm trying to understand the 2-story thing, because there's if this doesn't get passed, like a 2-story is going to go up in its place, like that's standard construction.
Not necessarily. I mean, if this doesn't get passed, 3 more units could be put here of single story.
Well, but they
Or
might be
one
double
two-story.
story. Like it's a little bit more efficient with covering your ground space.
We're not talking about efficiency. I'm talking about uniformity to the neighborhood that surrounds it.
Well, I can say that the alternate plans for this do include 2-story units, which would be permittable during permitting.
I think it's.
I'm just.
I
guess
the current the current configuration, you could put 3 units on it.
Right, but it might be the single family home and 2 more duplexes that are 2 stories up front.
But it would be it would still fit the profile what's currently there. Is that not a fair statement?
The 1-story or the 2-story? I'm sorry.
Well, the vacant lot that was there, that was a 2-story.
Right. Yeah, it was torn down.
It was torn down many years ago, so
Yeah.
now it's a vacant lot.
Right.
The one to the west of it is a single story.
Right.
And then the one behind it is a single story.
A lot of new construction is 2-story.
I'm just trying to encourage you to stay with the concept plan that currently exists, because outside of the neighbors that are currently here, they're longtime residents, but the surrounding tenants that are around this are not long-term residents. They're let's just say the people that own the houses, it's more of a boarding house. The ones that are directly adjacent to it.
Okay. But on smaller lots, typically they are 2 stories. So whether or not it's this or another one, it will probably still be 2-story.
Okay.
And I guess can we address just like, is there an issue with 2-story buildings?
No. I'm just the
Okay.
number. It's a numbers thing with me. I'm leaning to the shorter end of the scale instead of the upper end.
Right, and I
It's
do
a numbers thing
understand
with
that,
me.
but when areas are redeveloped and you want to add density to have city services kind of closer together and walkable area, this fits the traditional town planning. Traditional town planning typically goes from commercial to mixed use townhomes, and then it goes into single family. So you
Yeah, but
already have commercial in that area.
I'm
It's already been designated as mixed use.
I'm still trying to slow down the encroachment to this area is what I'm trying to infer.
Yeah, and I totally respect that, and I understand that. And alternatively, this is 8 units with 8 more tax base. It's development moving forward. This is to create a walkable community, right? That you're putting the eyes back on the street.
Yep.
I mean, I followed what your vision was, but the planners, like, that's all I have to do is to go from as a developer, right? As a planner, as an architect. The only thing that I generally have to go through in order to find out what I can do on a lot is I go to the planning standards. I go to the planning development, and I see what they're looking for. So in Vision 2020, everybody is all doing different things. So I look to what they're
So
plan was, and then I developed around it.
the planning vision that was promoted to you is recommending more higher density areas and
The
more walkable spaces.
the
I'm just trying to see where this vision. You're speaking of a vision I've never heard. So I'm
um
just trying to say where I'm trying to.
mhm.
Is that
This
part
is
of
a
our
teachable
strategic
moment for
plan?
me.
Yeah, well, okay, I just don't want to step. I mean, I am not I'm not a planner at the city of Apopka.
Nor am I.
And
So
I've worked with planning and for many decades in multiple jurisdictions, and just typically what happens is the planning department in your city does typically represent what everybody is trying to kind of go towards, whether or not it's trying to create a robust city center,
yeah,
with bikes and people walking and encouraging businesses to come into your
yep.
community, right? Density actually encourages all those things, and putting the garages behind that fits more with the traditional town planning. And there is a commercial area around. If you looked at all the orange, there's a bunch of commercial around there, and typically the mixed use and the townhouses would provide a buffer between. So I understand what you're saying, but part of development growth on a larger scale is that you go from commercial and then you go into a mixed use kind of higher density, and then you move into single family. So that's kind of like how things kind of have. If you ever notice, like the
Oh yeah.
older cities, like you go into them, and you got your street side with all the businesses, and then you go into your 4, and then you go into your 3, and then you go into your 2, and then you go into your single family. So I understand that this is not typical of what's around there, but from my understanding, to see development come in here and to create, development in here, because, and I understand people want to slow down development. I totally understand that. Like, this isn't a 10-story 240 unit homeless shelter that's going to bring in thousands of people. Like, it's it's a
If we can, we got
yeah,
to keep
it's
this
sorry,
moving
it's
forward. Is
just
there any additional questions on your end specifically, Commissioner Barron?
Thank you. And so I reviewed the PRC meeting, and you were not sure of whether or not you were going to be the contractor on this project. Are you still in that? Not sure if you're going to be the general contractor on this project.
so I have been building for over 20 years now, and I'm looking to slow down a little bit. And part of my own personal business plan is that I maybe have another contractor that I'm working with that does 80% of it, and then I'll do like 20% of it. My whole thing is to do the design and keep the aesthetics up, and not to do the cheap stuff, and not to do to make it actually a quality, construction. So my plan in this one is to be involved in it, but maybe not be the general contractor.
Okay.
Is that
And so, I've been in Apopka for 14 years, and I drive up and down Orange Street to get to Tractor Supply to get to downtown, to get to everything in that area. I've watched homeowners do amazing things to each of their homes, improving that area, because that's a major corridor.
yeah?
It literally leads us to one of like 3 or 4 of our oldest houses in Apopka. And it for me it's a staple. Um, Respectfully, I think your units are aesthetically beautiful, but I don't think they fit in this area. And the reason being is because there is that combination of mixed use, but aesthetically, it will. I feel it won't fit. Now, what I would like to see is perhaps maybe a couple of homes, maybe catty corner, maybe 4 homes catty corner on the lots, that perhaps are more towards the CBG type grant homes, where it's single family, a family. If the end result is to provide affordable housing and be aesthetically pleasing to the neighborhood, I would rather see something like that, where it's providing something a little bit more beautiful that we could enjoy in terms of going down that road, and respectfully also have our residents in mind that live in this street, because I respectfully cannot agree to putting a high density like this there. Now, that's not saying you can't use it. It's just saying let's find something else that perhaps would be better aesthetically placed in that area.
Yeah.
Because it is the
It is.
CRA.
Yeah. And that would be just to continue on with single family. Is that what?
Yes, yes, but
And
in a more aesthetically pleasing to where it's still providing that walkable. Because I agree with you in terms of the
right.
CRA needing that walkable area, and that area doesn't have sidewalks. So we
Well,
would need something.
did not get updated, but I was thinking of putting the sidewalk, going all the way around the corner on the property. There are different things that we can do with this, and where there's like an in between. If you want to see a nicer like frontward aesthetics, if maybe that's totally. I'd sit down with whoever and be like, how would you like to see this done? What kind of things can we do to make this beautiful, right? And um, versus not doing the 8, because I know that doing the 8 makes this project financially feasible, which I know is nothing about this meeting. Okay, but I'm just saying that being able to do 8 allows for doing a little bit nicer. My fear for this would be that doing 4 single family homes would be the cheapest of the cheap, and it just be another thing that kind of comes out. This might elevate it a little bit more, and I'd be happy to like work with. That's the benefit of me being the 20% in there, to be like, I'm just design, like, I'm build it, you build it, right? Like it's and so, because I mean, I also don't want to do, if this becomes 4 single family homes, I don't even know I want to do it. I don't want to do 4. I'm interested in this because I believe in higher density, and this is adding 3 more, well, I guess technically 4 more units to it. That's 4 units. It's not 10. It's not 100. And so these kind of projects, like, they kind of excite me a little bit more because I can do more with it. I can put more trees. I can tell my client, "Nuh-uh, if you're going to do this, you have to do like this. You have, it has to be nicer. It has to be." But honestly, I'm just being honest with it.
No,
If it is 4 single family, I'm not sure, because I'd be more worried that those single families would actually come at a cost of aesthetics.
Okay, let's start to land this plane now. Do you have any other questions?
No, that's all.
Okay,
all I have. Thank you.
perfect. Well, I appreciate the time. Is there any questions after that discussion for staff at all?
No.
Okay, so I'm looking for a motion for ordinance number 3157 to either approve, deny, table.
I move to deny to deny ordinance number 3157, first reading, small scale future land use amendment, 171 West Orange Street and 15 North Washington Ave.
Moved by Commissioner Anderson for denial, seconded by Commissioner Ruth. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion carries unanimously. All right, thank you. So we will move on now to administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Commission, welcome. 2 quick updates
Sorry,
for
let me
you.
jump in real quick.
Yeah.
We moved the agenda around, you guys, from normal, so I wanted to get administrators first, attorney, and we can move that around and then have the commissioners jump in. So just a little change there, but thank you. Sorry about that.
2 quick updates for you. One is surrounding the turtle incident at the Northwest Recreation Complex. I've got an additional update from staff regarding the pond sampling and ongoing efforts in regard to the unfortunate incident. Recent lab sampling confirms the presence of a cyanobacterial algae bloom at the pond, which is also known to be capable of producing toxins. The testing detected microcystin at a low level, which fell between the lab's detection and quantitation limits, meaning it was present, but at a level that cannot be precisely measured. All their tested cyanotoxins were not detected. An algae bloom can occur when there is an overgrowth of algae in a water body, typically caused by excess nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus. Warm temperatures, sunlight, and low water movement can also contribute to bloom conditions. Additionally, the city contacted the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission, along with the Research Institute, immediately once the turtles were discovered, so they can conduct an investigation, including culture-based analysis testing of some of the deceased turtles. Staff has followed up with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Research Institute and actually just got another update from them. I'll go ahead and read that email. Their statement on the situation reads, FWC staff have been on site at the Apopka Pond and collected samples for further testing. Preliminary analysis identified cyanobacterial, also known as
blue-green algae and water samples from the site. However, its role in the cause of death remains inconclusive. Additional samples are still being processed, and results may take several more weeks. It goes on to state that public's encouraged to report sick or strangely behaving freshwater turtles to the FWC to help monitor any situations. The city does maintain the pond on a monthly routine maintenance plan for herbicide treatments and quarterly treatment of pond dye. The pond fountain has also been down for repair, and staff are working with our fountain contractor to get the necessary repairs completed and get the pond fountain back up and running. Staff will continue to monitor the situation closely and will provide any additional updates as more information becomes available. And I will certainly share that with the commission.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any question? I'm sure we've seen it on the news and things of that nature, and I apologize that information hasn't been flowing again as quick as we would like on our end. Some of it was outside of our control. So just getting updated on that. Is there any questions specific to that maybe we can get an answer to? We may not have it right now.
Do we have anything posted by the lake just to kind of forewarn our residents who
Yes, so
take their dogs or their children around the lake?
yes, so we do have, since that is a pond that does have reuse water in it. Now, we do not take any water outside of that pond right now.
Right.
It all just sits in that pond. There are permanent signs that state, no drinking, no swimming, those type of things, because it is a reclaimed pond. We have also posted temporary signage with the health department notice as well.
Okay.
Mr. Williams, so do we have a public notification on our website, on the city's website, so that way the public is aware? Perhaps if they're not at the park, they can see it on social media, at least acknowledging that this is the findings that the FWC has brought forward.
I believe we did put notice as soon as the health department information was made public. We can go ahead and update with this latest statement that we have from FWC and make sure that's updated.
Perfect. And do we have a timeline on the fountain? Like, when will that be repaired?
We've our utilities operations staff. Actually, I think the contractor was out today again.
Glenn Brooks, Utilities Operations Director. We did have Cascade fountains yesterday evening. I think they're coming out today to pull the pumps. It's going to be, we're probably going to be coming back to you guys with finance and make it an emergency, because if not, we'd have to get 3 quotes, because we're expecting the price to be over the 49,000 because it's two motors down. So I hope to have a timetable by the end of this week. I'll let you know, and what will be on that. And again, it's important that we probably would have to move this thing up and not get the 3 bids so we can get it done quicker. And that will definitely help with the DO and stuff out there, keep water moving and stuff. So that's kind of where we're at. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Excellent. Next one.
Great. Next, just a brief update on the utility meter replacement program. As of the end of the month of April, utility operations and utility billing teams have reduced the estimated billings down now to 7%, which if you're looking at the raw numbers, that's 2,023 bills out of our 29,713 total bills for the month, or accounts for the month. This is a reduction of 478 estimated bills from the month prior. And again, just want to thank the staff on both of those teams and those departments for the continued work on the project. They are making a positive impact, and it's not, it's hard work. There's a lot of work that goes into this. Okay. Additionally, Mayor Nesta has asked staff to complete a review and assessment of the back billing processes and procedures, as concerns have been brought forward on those respects from customers. This process has already begun, and further updates will be communicated when available.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've seen, I'm sure you've seen on social media that, and we've heard this for years now, residents are getting rather large bills that once their meters are finally replaced or in whatever capacity that looks like. So we definitely hear the residents on that, and we're discussing internally all the options, and then we can bring that to you guys from there of what that looks like and what makes the most sense and what's equitable to the residents as well. Okay. Any questions on that at all?
No, we're still getting emails from residents who all of a sudden are getting their new bills and very high.
We're definitely prioritizing that and making that something. As soon as we have any updates or anything, it'll definitely be communicated in that capacity. Mr. Williams, anything else?
That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. City Attorney.
Yes, briefly, I want to bring to your attention, we'll not go into detail about it today, but the legislature passed Bill SB 1134 and it was signed into law by the governor. It goes into effect on January 1 of 2027, and it prohibits basically any money coming from government or otherwise endorsement from government of anything that even remotely resembles DEI. There's a lot of things that could go into the discussion about this matter, but it will certainly be impactful on your budget discussions and future things and what you can and can't fund. And I've been told to stop talking about it at this point until we know more, but just know that it's important.
What was the
So,
SP?
SB 1134.
Right. Right. That was discussed at the agenda review, and that is going to affect even our individual discretionary accounts.
It absolutely will. And the
Yes.
penalties for violating are significant.
Yes.
so and I know I guess you, this is interesting because will this also affect some of the things that the city, like our MLK parade?
National holidays are exempt.
That's what I thought. National holidays.
But to the extent the activity, it's sort of hard to answer because it says you cannot provide support for DEI concepts with no real explanation of what that would be. I think there will be challenges, I would assume, on constitutionality, but I just have to go off of what the law has now. I don't know what a DEI concept is. I can give you some thoughts about what it might be. As an example, if you were to support an organization that runs a Juneteenth festival, but as a part of the Juneteenth festival, they run a jobs fair for minorities, how to apply and so forth, how to present yourself for a job. Is that a DEI concept? Well, depending on who you ask. Are we given money that goes to that? If we are, that potentially is a problem. And that's why this law is a problem. But again, I've been warned not to preach on this one because I certainly could. I think it's a terrible law.
Thank you for that. I think that's definitely going to take a lot more communication, especially as we work through budgets. It really is going to direct a lot of what we do and how we work with the residents. So that one's a big one. Anything else, Attorney Shepherd?
No, sir.
Thank you. I will go into my report. As you can see, obviously, we've been changing some things up. I'm trying to add additional transparency and updates on kind of where my head is at, what we've been working on. I want to say first, thank you to staff for welcoming me the way that you guys have. Truly appreciated the hours and hours of meetings. Genuinely appreciated to update me. And I've asked staff to make sure to update with you guys all the meetings, and if there's any information you guys have or need or want, please do not hesitate to reach out to staff. They're here to work with you and get any and all information that you may want out there. So please, in whatever capacity it looks like for you guys, please do. I want to say congratulations to our new commission as well. I think the public is excited for what is to come. I do want to recognize former Commissioner Smith is in the room, so thank you for being here today. I also, Mrs. Bone, it's her birthday today, so happy birthday. Let me see here. So for monthly workshops, let me jump into that one now. My goal here is to allow opportunities, the second meeting of the month or first or both, to provide and we can structure this however we want, 30-minute opportunity. So it's an hour long. The first 30 minutes will be for commissioners to bring anything that they would like to discuss. So any agenda items that you guys want to see on the agenda, kind of pressure test and talk with the department heads to see any additional information you may have. And it can range from anything and everything. And then the public can kind of give their feedback as well to, hey, we like that idea. Hey, let's change it this way. And then we can decide not on that specific night's agenda, but on the following agenda, hey, this is going to be on it. So it gives kind of some runway for the commissioners to provide an opportunity to get whatever agenda item that is specific to you or specific to the community discussed in a very open manner. And all I would ask, I guess, is if there's items that maybe you do want to discuss, either present at the meeting beforehand just to say, hey, I want to discuss new parks. Great. So our minds can kind of get in that mindset, but at the same time, it's okay if you don't. We can discuss it at that meeting. Then the second 30 minutes would be to have the public come and have a little longer of a comment period, 5 to 6 minutes, and that would allow them to have a little more dialogue. Then if it's something that's not just a comment, but it needs some back and forth, either with department heads, with us, with our city attorney, with Mr. Williams, with anybody, it allows that dialogue there. So we can discuss that more so if you're open to having this first workshop to discuss. If we want more workshops, that I guess is my question. If you guys are open to it for May 20th, to do that before the next meeting, either at 5:30, 6 o'clock on May 20th. Is that something you guys are open to, willing to do? Sounds good.
Oh,
That
okay.
sounds good.
So
Okay.
what happened to May 13th?
I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay. So this would be 5:20.
Correct.
It's a
Yes,
fun.
the hour before. And do we want to do it at 5:30 to 6:30, then give a 30-minute gap to?
I guess it depends on if we decide to change the time of the commission meetings. I think.
Correct, and that's what we can discuss at that workshop as well.
Okay.
So that's yes. So for now, we're going to keep everything as is, and then I want to make it so that it's not on our reports. And I want it as an agenda item. Any of those changes that we're going to make. So we'll get to the workshops and we can discuss the meeting times and all that.
So you're saying 5:30 on May 20th?
Does that work, Mr. Williams? Does that work for staff? And does that provide enough time just so we're not running right up to the next meeting in case it goes a little over?
Yeah, I think from staff standpoint, we can make either of those work. 5:30 would be.
Or would 5 work better?
Well, which days?
Oh, gotcha. Okay, 5 minutes. I understand.
So if you wanted to do a 6 to 7, then it'd be just a quick transition, or if you want a little bit more time to have a break between there, 5:30, 6:30.
I just don't like backing right up to the meeting just in case we go longer. So let's do a 5:30 to 6:30. Does that work for everyone?
Okay, 5:30 to 6:30.
Okay. And then again, we can adjust things as we want to once we get there and see if it's clunky or doesn't work, or we can adjust it. So that'll be our first one. Let's figure out some things there. Any comments?
City Attorney just was wondering if you would like him to attend those meetings.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, so that's 5:30 to 6:30 workshop.
Yes. We're good on that. Any questions?
Will you provide something to the staff to eat?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know, other areas
I will do that.
Other areas do that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I will happily do that. Because I know those can be long. And I'll tell you too, I'll deal with that on the third one.
Okay.
So I do want to have a preliminary budget workshop, and let me apologize as well. When I discussed that, staff has been very eager to work with me and work with some of my initiatives here. So we jumped the gun a little bit to set it out there because I wanted your guys' approval first before we actually set this date. I understand that'll be your birthday, so I apologize.
That's okay.
The goal of this budget workshop is to just have a very high-level preliminary discussion with each department, and they will be on timers as well, of making sure that we're not going too long on this because it's not a deep dive unless you guys have specific questions that you may have. So what this will allow is some longer range visions for each department. Hey, we're going to need some major project in year 3, so we need to start budgeting now little by little so that we're not surprised by year 3 and having big changes on the budget. So that'll be just for us to, again, see high level new staff, new equipment, any CIP stuff. Just allow that, and there will be some public comment on that as well at the end to provide feedback and let us know, hey, we had in the right direction, wrong direction, we like that, we don't like that. So as long as you guys are okay with that, we will do it the 13th.
Yep.
Again, it's going to be high level. This is not deep dives or anything, but it allows us to provide feedback for our departments to finalize some of their preliminary budgets, which their preliminary budgets are due May 22nd back to the finance department. So it gives them a little time that if you guys provide feedback and say, hey, we don't want to prioritize that, or we do want to prioritize this, because that's what residents are talking with you about, then they're able to adjust that. So that's the goal on that one. We'll do that May 13th, 2026 at 6 p.m. then, as long as that works for everybody.
That works.
Excellent. And then the last one is just city commission meetings, dates, and times. So this is going to be part of that workshop that we'll discuss. We don't have to change anything. I just want to be able to have a discussion. If we want to change it, we can. So it's both between the days that we have them and the times that we have it. Do we want both evening meetings? Do we want both afternoon meetings, which I wouldn't recommend? Do we want them on Tuesdays, Monday nights, switch around? So I'm open to, it's basically just to have that discussion, see what maybe works best for the residents, for us, for staff, and just have feedback. We don't have to change anything, or we can change everything. So it's just some feedback there. Just get your minds right on kind of what makes the most sense, what you're hearing from the residents on how we can best serve them through that. Any questions on that part at all?
No.
Excellent. I got 2 more, and then I'll be done. I did want to update on some priorities that I've really been spending a lot of time in meetings on recently. The Golden Gem Pond out on Golden Gem, that's a big one for us. I don't know if it's been circulated or not, but we do have, we are under a consent order on that as of mid-March. So we are working with the governing agencies right now to get a tight timeline together and get that pond up and running properly. There has been money budgeted for it, and we'll be doing a more specific presentation of this to really get you the details. But we're still somewhat high level, and there's some approvals that need to be coming from government, some governing agencies to truly understand what their expectations of us are, and then we can provide the plan and make sure that everybody's in agreement, understands where we're at, where we're going with that. Then Kelly Park Road, the
Pioneer agreement.
thank you, the Pioneer Agreement. That one.
That's
That was a pickle. That one, we got a lot of work on that. I think we're in a good spot. I'll be able to provide an update in the near future on that one. We are navigating some provisions within that agreement that make sure that we get a road. At the end of the day, we need a road that serves the residents, and I've articulated that to everybody involved. And so I think we're heading in the right direction. I will be able to provide a little more of an update once we get something a little more solid right now. Also, on any of these items, if you want a more in-depth conversation with staff, please have it all day, every day. Anything you need to ask, please do. My last one is a small change that I'm really just impressed with staff that they've agreed to do. Is we're gonna be moving our agendas. They're gonna be out a week in advance now. So if you need to meet with staff beforehand, it provides a little more time to meet with the residents, talk to them, and then also to talk about any agenda items. So if you want to have a agenda review Thursday, Friday versus that Monday, Tuesday being shoved into that timeline, it just opens up a little bit more and be able to discuss things. So it's really just trying to have a little bit of quality of life for the commissioners, the residents, and then staff. I appreciate. I know it's going to take a little change, but you guys have been doing incredible, so I appreciate that. So, anything else?
No, that one's good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's
With
a
that,
good one.
yes.
I didn't want to stop you. When
You should have. What is wrong with me?
You was already into it. I just let you go.
I apologize.
I just let him go.
I had too many notes. That's my fault.
Right.
All right. So I apologize. I am so sorry, guys. That is so rude. What a terrible way to start. I am so sorry. What we'll do for this as well for commission reports, I am so sorry, is we're going to do similar to what we do for the invocation, is kind of rotate seats every single time, starting with seat 1, going to seat 2, 3, and then 4, and then going right back up. So, Commissioner Ruth, anything for us?
Look, I'm just so
Oh,
excited.
yeah, hit your mic as well.
I'm just so excited to see you do this. It's just overwhelming, just sitting here listening to something new and very vibrant coming from the dais.
Thank you.
I really appreciate this.
Thank you.
Because, as you can hear, it's greatly appreciated. I also wanted the people that came up here and, I appreciate the kind words you said. I do know this. You're definitely going to hold us to task, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you giving them the opportunity. Nothing's really changed on that front, and I like that. But I do want to kind of move into it was so good to hear that the lady speak in reference to the property that we were doing, because there was so much shared in that. And if, with your permission, I'd like to make a motion that we kind of step back, reevaluate our P&Z board, thank all the members on it for their dedication to the city and their service. But I would really hope that we could have a serious, deep thought and committed drive from the dais to select people that share the vision that we also share for the city. Collectively, from these nominees, we can select some people that are going to also share the thoughts and visions that we do, so as we don't get in this tug of war at the dais every time we come in here. I would like to see every council member here select a nominee that we as a whole pick from the group and make sure that they fit what we're looking for to fulfill those slots. But in that, I also want to encourage all the previous members to reapply. I'm not shutting the door on that, because I like that. There's a lot of wealth and knowledge that we don't want to lose there, but we need to get a P&Z board that shares our vision. So as this doesn't become a back and forth every time we get up there and we actually get ambushed by the numbers in the room.
Absolutely. Can we, if possible, if in agreement, bring that to the next workshop, and we can discuss that up front.
Sure.
And then we can, what I think we should do is somewhat create a policy of, or maybe update the policy. Maybe that's what we need to look at. So as long as you're okay with that, we'll add that to that workshop agenda on the 20th.
Well, what I kind of want to do is, with your permission, can we at least halt what they're doing until after we do our workshops and where we're going now? So as you know, because I've been elected for a month and a half now. This is the first open conversation I've had, and it was one this time, but they've had, by the end of this month, that's 2 months that they're ahead of me, and I'm going to be on defense, coming straight out of the chute. So at
Absolutely.
best, can we put the brakes on it?
Let me ask, when's our next P&Z board meeting?
It is Tuesday night.
Oh,
The
next
12th.
Tuesday.
Next 5:30. It's already been advertised and publicly noticed.
Okay, so let me ask you this though. I guess what I'm
Next Tuesday.
does this run into Attorney Shepard some SB 180 language that's nice and ambiguous, and are we hurting developers by delaying them in some capacity? That
It's not a new rule regulation change in the code, but if you were to do some of those things, yes. And also, to Commissioner Roos' suggestion about the planning board, I have no problem having people be there that are aligned, but they still have to follow the same law.
100%.
The law does not change.
Nope.
no, agreed, totally agree. So,
Can we do that? Are we?
so you, what's your direct advice? Can we postpone that or can we not?
Yes, because you're not making a law or you're not putting in a moratorium. You're simply saying we're going to have a workshop to discuss the issue of how we're going to deal with planning and board and so forth. So that shouldn't delay or postpone anything.
Okay, commissioners, are you comfortable with that?
In addition to that, so we currently we have to remove them off aren't they appointed for a 2-year term?
That's a whole other issue that I
Because we
assume
can't
I will
just
be ready to
tell
discuss at the
them to all
workshop.
quit, and we can't just get 3 years, right? So they're appointed. So I don't think we can just go and just remove all of them and
I'll
start
put
over
together the
afterwards.
procedures if that's what you choose to do.
Just to educate us, that'll help us
'cause we wanna-
understand.
yeah. So the workshop we need to get
Okay,
done.
so in the meantime, let's pause that. We'll workshop it one way or the other, but just let's pause, workshop it, and then move forward from there.
So, just so I understand, do you want us to proceed with the planning commission meeting on Tuesday night?
No,
Yes. Okay.
we're going to postpone that.
We'll notify the applicants then.
Okay.
Of that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anything else?
I appreciate that, the courtesy of that. I've read the charter, left and right. So, and I'm sure with this concept that we'll get the best legal advice we can get and how we can move forward with it.
Perfect. Vice Mayor, Commission report.
Other than to say, kind of ditto what Commissioner Ruth said, that we're excited. You can feel it. It's all new here. And first, I want to say thank you for the office space. I went in and it just felt really nice to have a place that I can kind of call home. I'm sure Susan will be happy, our city clerk, because I kind of always go up to her office and kind of occupy a little space, and she's been very generous in allowing me to do so. So Susan, I'll be moving to my own office. And that's basically it, other than that we all have graduations coming up.
Yes.
And I appreciate that you are going to keep us, as you said, kind of in the loop with invitations, community events. I did get an email today from a resident and someone who's very heavily involved with the Sertoma Club, and basically she responded to a post where I had said thank you for the office space, and what will the mayor, and this is what you wrote, what will the mayor and commissioner office hours be? So I will let you know that once we set up the office, then I can have a regular day where I'm going to have commissioner hours. But up until now, we didn't have that. I had to rely on the interim CAO and seeing if the conference room was available, so I couldn't be consistent, although I know that you had one day there. But, it's kind of hard to always say the same day and time. Sometimes, even our schedules are kind of busy. So, but now with an office, it's easier to go from, city council meeting to another to announce that, all right, I'm going to have office hours on this day. So I'm really grateful for having that opportunity. Also, please release who will be the city's communications distribution contact for invitations to the community functions for the clubs and organizations? That was the question. Our clubs have always invited the mayor and commissioners by sending it to one city contact, and obviously, um, that wasn't always the case. We didn't always get all the invitations. So a lot of these organizations felt we just weren't showing up when in fact we were unaware of it. Although the ones who always attended always asked for direct invitations and RSVP'd on their own, true. Some of us are part of those organizations, so it was easy for us. We're hoping to see more city officials accept our invitations. Our organizations do so much more for our citizens. So my response was, thank you for sharing your concerns. I invite you to attend our first commission meeting with the new leadership today at 1:30. I told the resident that I would screenshot her response and send it to the interim city administrator, which I did. If you are unable to attend the commission meeting, I will make mention of this post under the commissioner's report, which I did. And speaking for myself, I don't always get all the invites. I view many of the ongoing events in the city that are posted, and you all know I always say it all the time, via social media. With some of the local events, still I try to make as many as I can and will continue to do so. And I thank the resident for her support and good wishes. So thank you.
Yeah, and a quick update on that too. We are working. There's a lot of policies we're working on, uh, and one is having a direct contact and kind of a master calendar that everybody can look at and say, hey, it's at 2 p.m. on Saturday. There's 6 different things. Pick your thing. You know,
Right.
so that everybody's aware. There's no ambiguity, no selection there. It's going to be a kind of a master list. So we're working on that in the background. Just to update you on that.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Commissioner Anderson.
Yes, so piggyback off of this is where you're turning Shepherd. So regards to the commissioner office, when it comes to sunshine, I'm kind of, don't want to make sure that how are we able to, because I was at other areas and I was in Sanford recently and all the commissioners were like, had their own office space and they were all like kind of together and it wasn't like an issue. Will that be an issue for us to be in there?
It'd be an issue for
There's
them.
different spaces
In there. Okay,
Yeah.
because I saw them like walking around. It just wasn't like it was.
I'll simply say
Mhm.
the worst thing you could possibly do is look at what other people do and assume they're doing it right.
Okay. That's what I'm
And,
asking.
and so the answer is it would be a problem for them. And it will be at some point.
Okay.
It just depends on who gets mad and about what.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole point of what I was trying to say. So, yes, everything I said about being guarded because of how perceptions are formed by what people see, not necessarily what they hear,
Mm-hmm.
matters. Because, again, as someone who was investigated twice and could never have been involved in anything criminal because of the nature of the law, it didn't mean I didn't sting from being in the newspaper investigated. That's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You could be talking about the weather, and it is completely legal to do so. It is also going to get you in trouble because people will report it anyway, particularly if they are mad at you about something else. This is the nature of the society we live in. So that's why I'm giving you the advice I'm giving you. Could you have offices next door to one another and not violate the law? Absolutely. Would people assume you're violating the law? 100%.
So how are we navigating?
Well,
We're gonna do different because I just want to understand and make sure that we're not.
my understanding is that the mayor will provide an administrative assistant or someone to kind of let us know.
Help schedule.
Okay.
Right, a schedule. So if I say Tuesday, I want to have office hours between 2 and 4 or 4 to 6, that person, if you call, you want to have office hours, they'll let you know that,
Okay.
I'm in the office. But there's different spaces there.
Okay.
We still haven't kind of settled back there, but
And we'll navigate that delicately
yeah.
to make sure it's done properly.
Okay. That's it. And welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Look forward to serving with you all. That's
Commissioner
all.
Barry.
Well, hello everyone. It's so wonderful to be on this side, and you guys look marvelous. I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to be here in this seat. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be on this dais with everyone. So really, I just wanted to say thank you. I too was concerned about the office hours, so thank you, Commissioner Anderson, because I was like, how's this going to work? Especially listening to Mr. Shepard. So I would suggest, if anything, just to kind of the administrative assistant who we tend to have, just let her know these are those dates that everybody set, so that way we can kind of do a doodle where we can do a poll, what days work best, what hours work best, and then kind of navigate from there. Just an idea, just to help us navigate, because we all have different day jobs, if you will, and other priorities and responsibilities. So thank you. Really, other than that, that's all I have. I just have, I plan on attending this weekend the officer safety, the defensive, I call it defensive tactics because that's just all I know. So I plan on attending that because I think that will be fun. And as well as the barbecue. So thank you so much for that. That's it will be wonderful to be able to see everybody. And I've had the honor to be able to meet all of you in various capacities. And I look forward to meeting the rest of you, if you will, on Friday during my orientation or my onboarding, if you will. So again, thank you all so much. It's such an honor and a pleasure. And I look forward to serving you on this seat. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Well, that great meeting. I look forward to what we have going forward. We're adjourned.